are here to celebrate the culmination of our foundation week. This is the 22nd of January is our foundation day, and we are very happy that we have had a week events, celebrations, and all that. And today is, we hope that it will be a really eventful day as a culmination of this week. So we have some of the people who have been engaged with the university at different stages, some from the start and some at different stages. So I welcome everybody to this event for which is our foundation day, and I look forward to listening to all of your stories and trajectories as part of this Centurion University. So welcome all of you. I think we'll now have the agenda being displayed. I would also take this opportunity to actually show you what this is. This is a poster which has been prepared for the Foundation Day newsletter Smaranika. So you can see this. I think it's a beautiful piece of art which has been done, which has been made by Dr. Atanu Dev, I think, and his. So this is one of the wonderful things. You'll hear more about it along the way. And we'll now just have the agenda. We'll try and do things as quickly as possible.
Sangram.
Anita, are you going to show the agenda?
Yes, madam. Yeah.
So I think this is a very, it's a celebration. I don't expect it to be a very somber occasion. So, so please, let's hope we can get some laughs and smiles and claps.
Yeah. What is the agenda? Who is doing that?
Yes, yes, we're just showing it.
Start with a welcome drink, by the way.
Okay. Cheers to everyone.
Madam, can you see this?
Yes, we can. Yes, we can. So I'll just go very quickly through the agenda. So as is mentioned, I just offered the welcome address. We have an address by our president and then by the vice president. We also have address by Dr. Haribandu Ponda, who was our previous vice chancellor. We have an address by our honorary provost, Dr. Radhakant Padi. We have address by members, Board of Governors. I think, or I hope Dr. Omkar Mahanti has joined us or will join us. And then at 4, we have all the other celebrations. So this is very quickly the agenda for the first part of the today's celebration. So I can now request the president to address the gathering.
There is no gathering. All of us are sitting in a different place. But yeah, so finally,
virtual e-gathering.
Virtual. No. Good afternoon to all of you. Here it is in Australia. It is now 9 o'clock. Still, we have sun is not set yet. It's still looking like a day. And yes, Centurion journey has been. I remember that when the last notification had come out, all of us in the month of January, it was December 22nd, with the notification had come as the establishment day. And that time, DN, myself, Vice Chancellor, we are all in Australia. So that's, that also takes me down on that 11 years or 10 years of journey. When we were here, the notification had come out. And the logo, of course, was Centurion logo was designed in Australia. So it has a lot of connection to Australia. And today, when we are celebrating this, I am also in Australia and talking to all of you. So that's a major kind of milestone that, still the connect is strong. And today, DN, before we started, DN was talking to Atanu that, we are working with National Center for Farmers Health to introduce a new course, Farmers Health, into our agriculture program, which is an accredited course or unit in Australia. So that's a good thing. And this is a great thing that Australia Farmers Health, no university in Australia, in India is offering. That's a very contextual to Australian context, but you will try to contextualize to India. And anyway, coming back to Centurion, the journey of Centurion University started with Professor Haribandhu Panda when we discussed in Paralakhyamundi that the campus should become a university, and that's how the first DPR was prepared that time. And that also takes me down to a rainy day when we were discussing about in 2007. Maybe 2007, 2007 or 6, I exactly don't remember that, but I remember that it's a rainy day when Haribandhu sir and myself, we discussed that, we'll prepare a DPR, we'll try our luck. It is 2007. So the journey actually goes back to 2007 of dream of Centurion University. Centurion is just not a university, it's a story. It is a journey, and people like me or DN or anybody who are there, they will be there today. They will not like any other institution, but Centurion is different because not many private universities being in difficult regions, and it has got a different dimension to its existence. So I'm sure that whoever will be taking over the the progress of Centurion will be having same or the similar zeal that it should always grow with the community. So it has been, and it will remain as a community university. How far we have done, how much we have done, or how deep we have gone, that's always a debatable point. But the intent is that to do more and do also which has got meaning and relevance to the community. And people like Professor Radhakant Padi offering their help, suo moto or pro bono, is definitely it indicates that we are on the right trajectory, and people would like to be associated. Of course, in a journey there are many difficulties, many issues, many problems which we address in our own stride. Different people will have different mechanism to address issues, but all of us, institution is much more important than the individuals. So I know we will, while we'll have people who are committed, people who will think that institute is theirs, but the only thing is that on the foundation day or the week celebration, people should think that the foundation is meaningless unless until the belief is also strong. So the foundation of an institute or a university or any organization depends on the belief of the people. So I hope that this celebration, which we had for 7 days, or we will be, ending or finishing this 10 years journeys with a good note. People think that they are part of the university. They feel that they have contributed. They will continue to contribute. It is so great to have also Professor Haribandhu Panda joining today and try to share the story. But he is, unlike also Professor Nageswar Rao, I don't see him, but I hope that he will also join. So we want that all the former vice chancellors to keep on playing the role in building this institute and university. And in fact, if the new office which is being built, there we are planning that there will be a room for the vice chancellors to come and engage and interact with people. So that will be designated for the former vice chancellors' presence in the university. And of course, we are not that big, but at some point, if we are quite rich enough or we are resourceful enough, we should with the support of former vice chancellors, we should keep some scholarships in their names that should come up. So that those are the things which will evolve during course of our journey. But yes, next our dream is to become University of or Institute of Eminence. And as a special category, we don't want to compete with the large and big universities, which are traditional universities. We want to go into that. And now all of us, our focus is on NAC getting A++ or A+, whatever is the basic minimum requirement to get into Institute of Eminence. So that's very clear to us, and our focus has been and shall remain as a skill university. When we talking about the skill, it is what is the market needs, what is the society needs. It should be relevant and appropriate and meaningful. So that is the conviction, and I hope that those kind of conviction from the founders to the top management to faculty, it is percolated down, and people are in sync. People who have found it difficult, they have left us, but I hope that they will come back with the new vigor at some point. But people who are there, the future is very bright. That they will have a new kind of opportunities within Centurion system, and that's what our aim is, to create opportunities and systems and processes for them to ensure that their inner strength, their belief, their conviction, and their dream gets realized. So everybody has a dream, but their part of the dream should be in sync with Centurion. And as I started saying, that Centurion is just not a university; it's a journey. It is a story. But any university or any institute can say that we are a journey, we are a story. But no, here there are many stories which nobody can claim that Centurion I have built, or we don't believe in that. It is all built by all the people who are today attending, or they have left us, or they were there. So we, starting with we also owe to our previous trustees of JITM, Mr. Murtiraju, who recently arrested. I pray for his soul to rest in peace. But all of us, all of us have contributed. So this is this is Centurion community, and we, like anyone else, I or the vice president, vice chancellor, deans, or provost, or all of us, everybody is equal here, and we believe in that, and people have that kind of liberty to express their opinion. We always encourage. Professor Horibandhu Panda and I always used to also, we have been talking that people agree in in public and criticize in private, so which we try to reverse in many ways. But how far we have succeeded, we don't know. As an institution, our moral responsibility is that people should speak out, but not in a private, but in public. We should have debate. Disagreement is always allowed, and we should always debate on that, instead of keeping the disagreement and then criticizing ourselves or the institute. So I feel that in 10 years time, where the Centurion started and where it has reached is an enormous story, and there will be and in the next, because the foundation has been built, foundation has been set, and now to grow it, it should not be the brigade which is there now, young, old, middle-aged, whatever it is. So they will all contribute to take it to the next level, and that's that's my prayer. That's my request to all the team Centurion, entire team Centurion, and that's it. And thank you very much to be part of the story. Thank you. Hello.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Everybody went to. I thought that everybody went to sleep.
No, we were hearing you, sir. Thank you for your words, and in nutshell, you have
Thank
told
you so
it
much.
yes.
Was I audible, or people? I think I lost.
No,
people,
you were
Yeah.
you were clearly audible, so no problem.
So I would now like to request Professor D.N. Rao to speak a few words.
Yeah, you need to remind me to speak a few words, otherwise I'll speak a lot of words. Okay.
That's why I said that
again,
at the outset.
Yes. So, welcome, Dr. Horibandhu Panda. I think I see Aditya Sapru also there, Dr. Radhakant Padi, Omkar, who perhaps will join down the line. Yeah, unfortunately, due to COVID, we had to do a very muted celebrations of this event. 10 years is a good milestone to celebrate. I still remember, I know January 22nd was the day when Naveen Patnaik, the Chief Minister, laid the foundation stone, though December 22nd was the day where our gazette came out. But January 22nd was the day when Naveen Patnaik came, actually. The same day, he actually opened the Gram Tarang Foods factory, as well as also inaugurated the university in Paranakamudi. And I see institution is built of both good memories. There are crises in every institution, and you all remember, those of you who are at that time very much remember the immediate crisis we faced in 2011, when there was a massive strike and due to some miscommunication, and students did not understand the benefit of a private university. We being the first private university, this actually kind of told us the perils of working in areas like Parlakamudi, or places where people don't have understanding. And you all remember how so the birth pangs of Centurion has been quite troublesome to a certain extent when it actually happened. Thankfully, we never had such incidents later, but there's also misunderstanding. So every institution comes out of these kind of crises more stronger, more. It's an opportunity. Every crisis is an opportunity for us to look at what went wrong, and how things can be improved and stuff like that. Similarly, COVID has been a very big challenge all over the world, as well as to Centurion also. But I'm very, very happy with the way we responded to this crisis of COVID. Whether it is financially surviving the year, or whether it is producing the maximum number of publications, patents, preparing ourselves for NAC. See, COVID is a year where we also have 5 years of NAC is over, and then we have to revive, apply for revision, or other next 5 years. So it was a very challenging year. In a lot of ways, it was a very challenging year personally as well as professionally. But I think quite a few of us it was also the first time where perhaps some of us never traveled. Almost 9 months, 10 months we were homebound. We tested ourselves as an online university, and I think we have done a decent job, especially given the type of students we have and the type of faculty and the whole infrastructure that we have. I think so it's done remarkably well. That all of you know that when 21st March lockdown was held, by 25th March, the whole university was online. And just remind also some of the milestones: 3,000 publications, 60 patents in the last, more than 40 patents in the last 1 year. It's a great achievement, and almost 700 book chapters, right? Okay, and they're still counting. Amazon, most of them are published online. We have done work in the last 1 year which we have not perhaps accomplished in the last 9 years. Okay, so I must remember it here the contributions made by Dr. Nageshwara Garu, D.N. Rao, as he's fondly called in Vizag, the founding vice chancellor. He was not only the first vice chancellor, so he got the 2F inspection done. Then he got the first NAC done. Then Dr. Haribandhu Panda, under whom we actually got the ICAR, Indian Council for Agriculture Research, approval or affiliation for us. Now Supriya, right? Okay, and so it's also good that we had vice chancellors for a reasonable amount of time. People were not, and they were able to make a good impact. Dr. Ashok Mishra, I must remember, is the first registrar. And now Anita, she was a dean before, and now she's a registrar now. Now Centurion has also got an Andhra campus, and it's a new university. So yes, so far so good. As Mukti said, many people have played a role. That's the same with every institution. No institution is built, by one person. Though we could be the founders, or JITM was founded by Murthy Raju, but institutions survive people and things go on. So it's a movement to celebrate. Definitely, we have now almost 400 faculty, almost close to 10,000, 9 to 10,000 students with diploma and integrated curriculum, which has skills, which has also now got production. We have more than 20 crores of production. So today, what we need to celebrate is the fact that there's a Centurion model, right? Everybody's talking about, we are not one more university. In fact, just yesterday, I got a call from Mr. J. Chowdhury. Who is this man? He was right-hand man of Chandrababu Naidu. Mind you, when 5 years Chandrababu Naidu was in power, I could never meet him. He was so busy. J. Chowdhury was responsible as IT advisor to bring almost all investments, including Bill Gates and everybody, to Andhra Pradesh. He was the right-hand man of Chandrababu Naidu when he was in Chief Minister of Cyberabad also. Yesterday he called and said, I would like to know, I have been hearing about Centurion. Of course, now he is a little less busy because Chandrababu Naidu is not there, but he's still advisor to so many states. And he said, I would like to know the Centurion model. So everybody talks to us about trying to find out Centurion model, whether it is the other day we met the Higher Education Minister of Telangana, where there's a request to start some kind of a skill university. And Rajasthan, Punjab, and you name it. And there are all states which have want to look at Centurion as a model. And as Mukti has said, we are committed as both trustees to, and with Dr. Padi, I know is very, very enthusiastic about it, to make Centurion, what do you say, Institute of Eminence in about 2 to 3 years' time. We have also kept ourselves as 2024 as a deadline for this. I know it is ambitious, but it's not doable. I would also like to say very clearly that we are also putting paid to all kinds of investments and stuff like that for the time being. Both of us will just focus on this. So I think we should just put a lid on all that thing. So you have to suffer, both of us, for the next 4 years at least till this is done. So this is one occasion where I'm telling that both of us are now very committed, very vigorously committing to say that yes, we would like to kind of see Centurion as an institute of eminence in skills integrated higher education. And that's our personal target. That's our organizational target. And I'm happy that people like Aditya are also on board. And now my own batchmate Babu Shankar has come in, and all this faculty are also very enthused. We are also getting very good faculty now. Lately, I see that the profile is also improving. So it's all in all a good time. And I think financially also, we have now got our loan sorted. Expansion is clear. Parlakmudi will become a more rural veterinary kind of a campus. And all the industry partnership will be either in Vizag or in Bhubaneswar. Vizag will more focus on, or Vijayanagar will more focus on advanced technologies. So it will be a complete spectrum of high technology, low technology, skills, research and development, product and production, right? So we will be perhaps the first such university in India, to kind of push that benchmark and kind of become an Institute of Eminence. That's our goal. And let me assure you that once NAC, whatever grade we get, A+, whatever, we're at least trying for A+, we will all be kind of dedicated towards that particular goal, and we will really work very hard for that. Okay. So again, thank you very much. And I'm very excited. I'm not tired. Okay. Though it's 15 years with Centurion, I spent another 15 years with XIMB and Gram Vikas. I can assure you now, Mukti seems to also be very reinvigorated in Australia. This trip has really reinvigorated him. So you'll see a rejuvenated trustee team coming back, to really help the Vice Chancellor, Registrar, faculty team, Provost, and everybody who is a well-wisher of Centurion, board members, to take it to that goal of in 4 years. And when I say it, I really mean it, that yes, we are not tired. We would like to, and there was some time where yes, we did feel that okay, we have done enough, but not anymore. Not anymore. We feel there's a lot of unfinished agenda, and this is one occasion I thought I will just assure you that we are committed and we are ready to go. Thank you, and we hope all of us you also will be with us by 2024 when we want to achieve this target. Thank you.
Thank you, dear. That was wonderful. It's also nice to get that reinvigorated president and vice president here who are kind of willing to take the agenda of Centurion and move it to its next level. So thank you, both of you. I think now we will have some of the people who have supported us from the very start. So I would like to invite Dr. Haribandhu Panda, sir, to please speak a few words and enlighten us about his kind of part in the Centurion journey and that kind of thing. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam. Mr. Sapru, Honorable Member of Board of Governors, respected President Professor Mukti, and respected Vice President Professor D.N. Rao, Honorable Vice Chancellor Professor Supriya Patnaik, Madam Registrar Professor Anita, Honorable Provost Professor Padi, my former colleagues and present members of the faculty and staff, dear students of the university, if some of them are attending, I don't know, and especially friends from the Gram Tarang group of institutions and other participants of this online congregation, good afternoon to all. I was very happy that Professor Mukti has already given a background that was very exciting, and he has also shown the path for the future. And it is, and I like it very much. Professor DN has also promised that what are the things are likely to come, and especially that last 1 year in a difficult time, the way things have evolved, that shows that lot of things it is possible, and the Centurion model which all are proud of, and it will come in a much more richer form, and we all are excited towards it. What I will do in next 5 or 10 minutes, while going through my own ideas, my own experiences, is it audible?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Sir. So my own experience of working with Centurion, the organization which is extremely dear to me, and what I could see possibly a little bit, because now I'm a little bit away, some of my own ideas that also I want to share with you. Because 10 years is a good occasion. Not only we need to reflect what we have done, but also, as Professor DN has already and Professor Mukti has already pointed out, how we can go so that we can leave our mark as a very special and privileged institution. Now, first thing is, I feel privileged for being involved from the very beginning with the preparation of the feasibility study of the university, thanks to Professor Misra. That time he was not president, and subsequently remaining part of the senior management team for 6 long years. With Professor DN and Professor Supriya, my interactions had been earlier than the inception of the Centurion University. My days at the university has remained a memorable chapter in my life. I fondly remember the struggle, excitement, frustration, and hope in challenging the status quo in higher education that Centurion were destined to make. As I understand, Centurion University came out of the frustrating environment in which the institutions of higher education were serving the purpose of education at that time. These institutions and the leadership behind them, in my understanding, were not effectively fulfilling the true purpose of education. And today, we are still not better in a better situation as I see the way many institutions are operating. Let me clarify a little bit what I want to say. According to me, there are 4 operational purposes of education. These purposes have to be realized simultaneously to call somebody educated, or the person who graduates to really feel that he or she is educated. These 4 purposes have to be fulfilled. What is the first one is, an educated person must have the capability to ensure livelihood security for himself or herself. It can be having possession of employable skills and or entrepreneurial competence. Second, an educated person must own social accountability, and that must start from home, from his or her nearest point. An educated person must respectfully accept diversity in all forms. And finally, to be recognized as educated, he or she must show ecological responsibility in all her or his actions. Now, universities and other institutions of higher learning are expected to provide directions and lead us through the chosen path to achieve above objectives. Unfortunately, even today, we are far from realizing these objectives of education. I also don't think our mainstream educational institutions are gearing themselves to move in that direction. Given such an environment then, Centurion University brought a new paradigm that is focusing on skill-integrated higher education with an entrepreneurial ecosystem within the university through a number of social enterprises. It conceptualized a system where Gram Tarang group of enterprises was at the center of the university. Teaching inclusiveness, empowerment, and giving at least equal importance to hand, heart, and head are easy, but difficult to practice. Today is an opportunity to admit my own failure without being ashamed. Given our conventional mindset, the architecture of the university was not easy to implement, and it functioned and probably still functioning with an uneasy situation. Within a few years of the operation of the university, the acceptance by the industry, government and larger society was encouraging, in spite of occasional unhappiness and criticism from different corners, within and outside. In my view, there is tremendous opportunity to exploit this homogeneous homegrown architecture, and Centurion ecosystem can retain its unique position in pioneering and propagating such an initiative, what Professor D.N. just now called that the Centurion model. It is unique and it must be nurtured and it must be propagated. Achievements of its first decade of existence have been awesome in any hard or soft parameters, whether you count number of students, schools, programs, faculty and campuses, recognitions, infrastructure facilities, linkages with state, market, and civil society organizations, and individual well-wishers. You may count span and diversity of outreach, entrepreneurial initiatives, social inclusion, social impacts, and like that there are many. There are numerous accolades, and we all are proud of it. The fast pace of growth, coupled with frequent transformational changes within limited financial and human resources, and occasionally not so friendly environment, is a notable achievement. Given my limited understanding, the days were not easy for the university, and it was not supposed to be easy, given the task in hand and the path chosen by the founders and the team that was supporting. I am sure the promoters and senior team of the university and the institutions in the Centurion ecosystem will honestly deliberate in a free and frank environment and restate their agenda and the strategy for next 10 years, which DN has already told and Professor Mukti has already articulated. In my view, Centurion University's goal and conceptual architecture is too precious to be wasted upon. It must live long, certainly much longer than the physical limitations of individual, which I heard now, and I have also heard repeatedly earlier that both of them, they have committed to. While doing such a deliberation, it may be useful to remember that the universities are significantly different from other institutions, since the former, that is university, in the business of transforming human beings. The consequential damage on the individual and society due to poor quality of service is huge and irreversible. Hence, it is essential for the members of the university to have a shared vision with enabling systems and processes, harmony in thought, speech, and action, while appropriately prioritizing resource allocations for different purposes. Finally, it is the teams and leaders who have to drive the agenda. There is no magic in getting their commitment without ensuring their autonomy, dignity, security, and growth. One characteristic feature of an academic institution of excellence is its age. It is not surprising, for it takes time to build a culture of excellence. Centurion has to go a long way. From the present childhood, after these 10 years, when it moves to its adolescence, the path will not be that smooth. There will be temptations. Unless vigilant, it may miss the path of excellence, professionalism, and care for its stakeholders, which they have very, in a very difficult way, they have tried to maintain it. I pray and wish that the Centurion University will find strength in having a unique place of its own, of which we all will be proud of. I am grateful to the university in general, and Supriya Madam and Anita Madam in particular, for giving me the opportunity to be part of the 10th Foundation Day celebrations and the platform to share my thought. I am extremely grateful to President and Vice President and the senior team for allowing me during my tenure there to articulate my ideas and care to listen to what I was saying. And to many occasions, we had many differences, but the differences used to yield some good result, I would say. Now at the end, may God bless members of Centurion University and its ecosystem partners. Thank you very much.
Sir, thank you so much. As always, you always have some very inspiring words to say, and that is always good for a university. As you say, we have still got a long way to go. So it's always wonderful to hear from you. Thank you so much. And we would look forward to your continued support to Centurion University, which I know you always have. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
I would now like to request Professor Radhakant Padi, our provost, honorary provost, to speak a few words.
Hello, thanks a lot. Good afternoon, everyone. But it feels a little bit monotonous. Can we not open the floor for a little bit feedback from others? I mean, the regular faculties, I mean, the faculties are the strength, right? If somebody wants to speak a little bit before we keep on speaking, is it a good idea? It's a out of agenda, I know that, but still. Celebration time, right? So let everybody speak a little bit.
If you like to change the order, then I think
right. I like to see a little bit of it. Not many, but maybe a couple of them. Basically.
We can ask Abhinav to speak a few words.
Right. Let's make it a little informal.
Abhinav?
Otherwise, it feels very, very formal.
No, it is. That's why I said I don't. It should not be a very somber occasion. You're right.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
Yeah, my name comes alphabetically at the top, so it was an easy target.
All right.
I don't think I will with the galaxy of people who are there. I can see on this on the Zoom, including governing board members like Dr. Omkar Mohanty, Professor DN, Professor Dr. Radhakant Padi. I will not take too long. I think yesterday the MRC had come and done a short video talking about our 10-year journey. So I'll maybe just revisit parts of that. For me personally, it's an 11-year journey. I joined exactly 1 year before we became a university. And whenever I do any presentation about us as a group, as a skills university, or whether Gram Tarang as its social entrepreneurial outreach, I always begin by the three major events that happened in 2010, right? Which transformed. They were like the inflection point in our growth story. 2006 was when Professor DN and Professor Mukti had tied up with CTTC to launch its first batch of vocational training, training a small.
Hello.
Hello. Hello.
Hello. Yeah.
Abhinav, you are not audible.
No. I think he's frozen.
Yeah, I think the connectivity might be a bit of a challenge.
Okay.
Like
So I think I will allow him to come back later. So we can get him later on. So can I request now Professor Omkar Mohanty?
I think if you request me to speak, then Professor Padi's criteria would not be fulfilled. So in let Professor Padi speak himself.
Okay.
I think I will. I think, as he said, it's a good idea to get some other faculty to speak. Pragya, can I request you to speak? You have been one of the very early members of our faculty team.
Thank you, madam. So I wanted to present this idea through a storyboard, but somehow I could not do it.
But would like to see you. Can you switch on your video, please?
I think.
Yeah.
I mean, at least I don't know you probably, right?
I think it will be a bit of a challenge because the
really?
connection.
Okay.
Yeah.
But you can just show it once.
Yeah, that I can do for.
Got it. Yeah.
Okay.
All right. At least we know who is speaking, right?
Okay.
Okay.
Yes, thank you. Well, my journey have been the most, this 10 years journey or 20 years journey, you can say, have been the most meaningful for me. as I have also grown here from a teacher to a facilitator, from a teacher to a content maker, instructional designer, collaborator, and a catalyst of change. So I have grown with the university, I would say. So I have seen the disruption in teaching and learning, research and innovation, process and product development. But I would say that I love the open culture and I love the fact that it's forward thinking. And I'm proud to be a part of this inspirational journey. We have grown from height to heights, from a college named Jagannath Institute of Technology and Management to CGI, and from CGI to Centurion University of Technology and Management. And I have seen how our president, Professor Muktikanta Mishra, and our Vice President, Professor D.N. Rao, along with the dynamic team, have overcome all the challenges to be where we are now as a skilled university. I have seen at the heart of what we do, and that's not just a tagline, shaping lives and empowering communities. Our skilling and upskilling programs, extension activities, courseware development, multidisciplinary approach, and diverse activities at the university are commendable. And I would say my journey has really been fantastic. Thank you so much to all my colleagues, friends, for giving me this wonderful opportunity to be where I am today. Thank you.
Thank you, Pragya. That was wonderful for sharing your part of the journey with us. It's so wonderful to hear these stories, even for me, even though I've been associated with all of you for a while. So is Abhinav back, or
Yes, ma'am, I am.
would any of the other Yeah, okay. So I'll let you continue then.
Yeah, sorry about that. Our network here is a little erratic. So yeah, I was just recounting how the my personal 11-year journey and the 10-year journeys of the university almost coincide. I came in here when I think just the ground floor of the main academic building of CIT had been set up, and we had one workshop where we had about 30 machines and some students doing SMO training in our ILNFS partnership. Professor DN at that time told me the first task he gave me was, why don't you set up and mobilize the first batch of ITI students for the Jatni campus. At that time, our affiliation process was not entirely complete. It was still work in progress. And it was mid-season, right, in February. And at that time, Chito Babu, Chitranjan Patnaik, who's senior manager HR and admin, he was in the admissions team. And he, Dhruvo, and we set out into the nearby villages, starting our my first experience of rural India. So I think just to relate a personal story, when I was planning to quit my corporate job and move to Orissa, one of my colleagues who was also planning to be part of the setup here, he says, "Tu janta nahi hai ki wahan pe kaam karna kitna mushkil hoga, tu kabhi Parlakamundi gaya nahi hai." So and when first time we drove down from Vizag to Parlakamundi, I remember that was with DN sir and Aditya Sapru. That time it was one of the very early days. And when I reached Parlakamundi, for me it was an eye-opener, because I had truly never experienced rural India, right? And to actually see where on one hand the shining India that at that time the Vajpayee government was talking about, and what's actually happening on the ground was an eye-opener. But for me, what was an eye-opener was the work that both the co-founders had already begun doing in a place like Parlakamundi. And the best thing of all was that after a nice travel through rural India, visiting villages, I eventually got to stay in this beautiful guest house at that time, which was our first principal's house. It was almost like an outhouse in the corner of the campus. And we still had a nice air-conditioned room to get back to, and a decent internet connection. So I found that this place really put together the best of both worlds, right? The world which I wanted to so much explore and find out more about, which was the real India, but at the same time have the conveniences of what I was used to in a Bangalore. I found that perfect balance here. Of course, my life was made a lot easier because the first 3 months I spent in Supriya Ma'am and Mukti sir's outhouse in their house, and with Jitu serving beautiful coffee. It was really fantastic for the first 3 months. But then the how you build institutions from scratch. That was what I really got to learn from the two co-founders. How do you take this barren piece of land and then decide that, all right, I'm going to build a building here, then I'm going to get an affiliation of an ITI, and then I'm going to make sure it has the seats are filled up, and then I'm going to make sure that the students at the end of 2 years will all get jobs, right? And you'll grow this as an institution and add more programs to it and add more trades to it, and then bring in the industry.
Hello. Again.
Again. No, I think he'll come back.
Let's just
wait.
Let's wait a few seconds, maybe half a minute, maybe.
No, this should be a little more stable, yeah, because I've used my hotspot. Otherwise I use the LAN cable and it just drops off and it doesn't come back. So hopefully you can hear me. So so that's what the entire journey was about, right? Moving into the real India, building things from scratch, learning how to work with whatever limited resources that you have, and fighting it out against all these government officials who come to inspect the centers, and you have to explain to them why on how adding or not having 5 square feet of space should not be a grounds for rejecting your ITI affiliation, right? Those are the kind of things that reams and reams of documents that you need to sign and submit. So those are the real world things that we ended up doing, which has been such a change from what the corporate world trains you to do or what your education teaches you to do. So I think the 10-year journey, more than, I mean, from an institutional perspective, from an organization perspective, it has been a personal learning, right? Moving away from my world of analytics and Excel sheets and PowerPoint presentations to the real world. I think that's what Centurion and Gram Tarang has given to me, and what the two co-founders have given to me, grooming me all along and helping me or equipping me with the skills to deal with the real world. That's how I really see it as a personal story. And from an institutional perspective, I think enough has been said and talked about, and just the different accolades that we won along the way. I think the model is very much is so respected. I think just recently I was representing Centurion University as a skills university in a workshop being conducted by the Ministry of Skill Development. They have created this body called the National Council of Vocational Education and Training, NCVET, which now subsumes NCVT. And the idea was, that they will possibly create some skills universities and also have a credit framework which allows seamless accumulation of credits and transfer of credits from skill development and vocational education into higher education, and allowing students to carry forward short-term skill courses into longer-term qualifications, right? And frankly, I mean, they had a room full of people, from all over India and pretty well-known institutions and of different background. And the points that we put forward, the secretary immediately, asked us to kind of lead the whole thing, because we've always thought 4 or 5 years ahead of where the country is or where the ministry is and where the rest of the university world is. Universities still don't understand what skilled integration is, and we'd already had the qualification framework in place and had the partnerships in place to implement it on the ground, right? Not that we are there, as our president constantly puts it. If you put it on a scale of 100, and where does he see us? I don't even think he says we've achieved 10%, right? We have a long way to go. But the kind of respect that I got in that room when I was, putting forward my points, and from a newly appointed additional secretary, well, I messaged sir immediately saying, sir, we are the thought leaders, and the entire world, we may not have the financial success, but the kind of respect that we have in those circles, I think that really speaks a lot. And that's something that really makes me proud to be part of this group. And 10 years is a very short time in the history of a university or even an organization that that you would like to build to last. So I'm more than looking forward to the next 10-year trajectory, as Dr. Haribandu Panda rightly put. We need to now go back to the drawing board and redraw our charter for the next 10 years. I'll end with that. Thank you.
Thank you, Abhinav.
Madam, in a lighter mode, just 1 second.
Yes.
I could say that two of our co-founders and the teachers of Abhinav, they only partially taught him before, and for the full education, he has to go through this experience. So now education is complete.
Thank you. Thank you. I think Abhinav will agree with that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. No, but I would just like to add, I think, we are all of us in Centurion, we always talk about Abhinav's passion and compassion. So I think we see a demonstration of that almost every day when he is with the students of Gram Tarang and his team. It's so awesome. I just must tell that, and I think everybody admires you for that, Abhinav. So you're stay that way. Continue to stay that way. Okay. I would now just request: is there any other faculty who would like to speak a few words?
Yes, madam. I
I'd
will
like to
speak.
invite somebody else before.
I will speak.
Dr. Espinanda. Dr. Espinanda?
Yes, yes.
Thank you so much. Please go
Madam.
ahead.
Yes, yes. Honorable President, sir, Vice President, sir, BC madam, Register madam, Haribandhu sir, Omkar sir, and Provost sir, and my dear colleagues. I would speak a few words. I started my journey at Jagannath Institute in the year 1997 when I was 23 years old. Just completed my MSc degree. I joined in Jagannath Institute when the institute was running with a small house at Jangam Street, Paralakhundi, then shifted to a small house near Forest Gate, Paralakhundi. Then when Maharaja of Paralakhundi, Gopinath Gajpati Narayan Dev, refused to give the palace, then it shifted to R. Sitapur. That time it was running under some mango trees with some tent, furnitures, where Professor Vaivan Rao, the first founder, director, and Professor C.R. Rao, sir, Dean Academics, they were sitting. That time we appointed. Then exactly I started my academic journey in the year 2003 because during that time I left to just went to for my higher studies to Barampur University. So almost all I have completed more than 20 years at Centurion. Later it was Centurion with Jagannath Institute, then it was Centurion, then it is Centurion. I have seen many ups and downs of Jagannath Institute, then Centurion, but I never left the hands of Centurion because one of the crisis period, it was around 2003, 2004, when no faculties, student strength was very less, many faculties left the place because that time was a huge kind of crisis. That time Professor Aluri Murtiraju sir, who was the founder chairman of Jagannath Institute, he also died and he left the place. And Professor Vaivan Rao, that time he expired. Then still I thought of no, never leave this place, and I belongs to this Paralakhundi. I like this place, so I continued the service of myself at Centurion at Jagannath Institute. Then slowly, actually, frankly speaking, when I was joined here, at that time I was exactly not knowing many things. Only because of Jagannath Institute and Centurion, I learned many things. Slowly, I improved myself, learned many things. Then in the year 2005-06, our new eminent professors, when they took this Jagannath Institute, then also they gave me this some administrative power. Then I thought of working with a lot of enthusiasm. Then I worked, and I have been working, and probably I don't know whether authorities they know whether I am working with more efficiently or sincerely, but I know I have been working with my full efforts and sincerity since my childhood. And I am very proud of myself that I am with Centurion, and I never seen and I never say any kind of, if anybody is saying any kind of negative things towards Centurion, that time I felt like it is affected to not only me, to my parents, to my like soil, all those things. With this kind of things I have been involved, and now I am seeing the Centurion is growing and growing, number of faculties, students, schools, then number of extension activities, and we have been involved like our parent institute. So it's like my journey, and I am very proud of myself with this Centurion, and thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Nanda. It's very interesting to hear the beginnings of it, because I also didn't know that they were taking classes under some trees. So, I mean, that's the story of a number of institutions, but to hear that that's how it started is wonderful, and that the king refused to give the palace as well. So that's a very interesting bit of the history. I think we need to take note of and record somewhere. Um, but we are very happy for all your support, all the faculty who are here. I'm so happy knowing that you're talking about how you feel a part of the university, the Centurion brand, but it's also how, we really, you know, really we can celebrate your support to this organization and to bring it to where it is. So now, Professor Padi, can I now request you to?
Yeah, fine, no problem. All right, let me congratulate all of us, including ourselves, probably. Very onset. I think 10 years is a remarkable achievement. I mean, 10 years is a good milestone, of course. But when you look back, it is actually highly remarkable. I mean, in fact, we did not know about all that. But having said that, I'll start with a small complaint with President and Vice President, or maybe by VC also. When you talk about celebration, formal speech and all that is probably, we're looking forward to like welcome drink, some dance, some song, right? Something to celebrate in real sense, right? So let's not make it too formal. Okay. And I'll be very short also. I'll not be unnecessary too long and all that. All right, my association started around 2015, very casually, informal way. In fact, one of my former student was actually living close to Professor D.N. Rao, and he somehow introduced me. That is how it started. And around 2015, there was IEEE conference in Polachundi, actually, looks like that. I mean, if I remember that, that's 15 or 16 around that. So I was invited to give a talk. Then slowly I got a little more interest looking at the setup, looking at how the engineering education should be. And the subsequent visit, I visited Bhubaneswar in 2000. Doing a very good international event. And that event was attended by truly international people. I think 2 from US, 1 from UK, or something like that. And then that was a huge success, and something on aerospace engineering. I'm very passionate at that point of time, if the senior management remembers, to have somehow start a master's program in aerospace. And somehow we laid the foundation for that. But eventually did not end up the master program, but we did start a bachelor program. I think it is still continuing, it will continue also. Somehow it one thing led to other, but I think I'm now back as an insider, not an outsider anymore. But I mean, what we really liked about the university setup is actually how the engineering education should be. In fact, both hands-on practice, and you just move around and feel free to open an engine and then reassemble it, or feel free to kind of work on a little lathe machine, and then maybe you can cut your little finger or something, and then put a bandage out of that. I mean, that kind of thing, actually very unique. And we also seen so many things there, like your wood industry, say, or coffee industry, or cotton industry. I mean, all sort of things coming inside the campus. It's very rare. And that is where I thought the infrastructure is highly in place. And I was later very pleasantly surprised to see that about 50-60 companies are already associated with that, including giant companies. And they have actually sponsored a lot of money for setting up the establishment. For example, Ashok Leyland was part of it. And then Visakhapatnam, when we visited, the lot of interest is there in Visakhapatnam for medical association and things like that. There are so many industries in Visakhapatnam as well. Things like that. So our overall journey, I mean, overall kind of experience is very good. And I myself was kind of promoting that we should actually aim for this Institute of Eminence. I was actually putting a target 10 years from today, but then President and Vice President have already put a target 5 years from today, which is very good, very challenging, and all of us can actually do it, not in the sense of urgency. I think that doesn't work probably. What we should do as faculties, we should actually enjoy what we do. That's the bottom line. Okay, right? Nobody should actually kind of come forward with a lot of kind of action items and all that. We are very confused and all that way. But each of us belong to the university. Each of us should not feel how the day goes. But morning to evening, if you don't feel it before going to bed, then the day is well spent. And in cricket, centuries are not just like when you walk down, you don't think about centuries, right? You play each and every ball, one ball at a time. And by the time you come back to from the crease, I think you got a century already. And probably Centurion University is kind of a role model for that. In Century is kind of somewhat close to that part of it. So each of us should try to get into the century model part of it. Try to score a century. While you have the target as a century, but we should not think about that at all. We should think one day at a time. Once we spend one day at a time well, and also remember all of us can only work about 10-12 hours per day productively. So 10-12 hours per day if you end up working, and now you count how many man hours are there. 400 and 500 faculties into 10 hours and things like that, you put it actually, right? 5,000 work hours actually. So that is the one that is going to take any university forward, and that should be very natural process. We should not feel the urgency, feel the need, and all that. It's the environment should be such that each of us should enjoy, and we're trying for that. I mean, of course, that is what the environment is going to happen. If you are in the right path, and also I recommend that I think senior management, we should also think about not only our university but a consortium of universities. A consortium of universities is the model that world is going forward. In fact, if you see like Bay Area and things like that, there is UC Berkeley, there is Stanford, there are whole lot of industries and things like that. So they all come forward and then talk about consortiums and all that. So Visakhapatnam actually gives a very good ecosystem, and also Bhubaneswar also gives an ecosystem. So let us not stand. I mean, we stand together, but stand in a way that we should be the role model. The people should talk about our way, but we should not like the only one and all that. We're part of the bigger setup, so that the entire everyone progresses, and as part of that, we also progress. So that is what my line of thought. Probably I'm wrong somewhere that I don't know. But also let me tell you one facts and figures. When I heard from Dr. Rao that publications are 3,000 per year, it is really a time to celebration, time for celebration in a very big way. Statistics wise, we have actually crossed the IISc benchmark. IISc publishes about 2,500, and Centurion has published more than that, and we should all be genuinely proud of that. The only question now comes about after quantity, what next actually, right? I mean, followed by quantity comes, of course, the quality part of it. And I think all of us are sensitized about it already, right? So all that matters enough. Some of that, I think I keep on seeing the Slack group, as and when somebody publishes, they proudly post it, and that should be. And there are so many positive things coming from others. That means we do enjoy each other's success, and that is how it should be as well. And looking at some of these publications, I think they are pretty good high standards also. It is so the impact factors, anything more than 3, 4, 5, those are the things that are coming. So we should not feel anywhere lack of confidence that okay, we are anything lesser than anybody else. If we do our job well, if we spend our day well, then obviously everything will become natural. Okay? So that is how the things should be. And I think both president and vice president are extremely energetic, and also all sort of other people are also always energetic. I'm sorry, I may not be able to spend too much of time like a very regular kind of employee there. But as and when I can think something, I do kind of say. And some of you actually keep on looking at my post probably about some funding opportunities. And those are something whenever I say I keep on posting. I think I don't follow, by the way, who is benefiting or not benefiting, or who is actually following that or not. But those are some of the opportunities we should think about it next, basically. Right? Publications are not just done out of some conceptualization, but publications do come after solving real good problems. And real good problems come through these grant opportunities and all that. And grant opportunities mean we are no more dependent on the institute management also, right? The mechanism will be like if you get a grant and you execute it, right? So that way, I mean, management has a very limited role in that. In other words, you become almost independent sort of thing as far as money management is concerned. Grant success is concerned. University will share your success, of course, but you also become fairly independent and then take the journey forward. So when I graduated from master's or about to join IISc, I think one of my earlier professors, who of course retired now, he told initially you are known by the name of the university, but later on, after 10 years, 20 years, university should be known because of you. Okay? So that if you do that, then obviously that is the role model, right? I mean, initially university should give them a name to you so that people know about you. But later on, university should be very proud of you, and university should be known because of you, right? So that each of the, suppose there is a Nobel laureate somewhere, then of course the university is known because he is there, basically, right? So that kind of stature, if we build it, then we have paid back to the university, we have paid back to the society, and in the process, we have actually trained a lot of good students or good citizens of the country, basically. So let us aim for that at least. And again, I request everyone that this is a celebration time. Do enjoy today, and don't be too formal. And of course, I was a little bit unhappy also. Let me tell you that when I saw some comment that okay, there is some research RC center progress and some people did not come, and then why you don't come and report to us and all that. This is a celebration, right? Why should somebody report? It should be voluntary rather. So this is how we should set up a kind of an environment where people do enjoy. So that is what my dream is. And once you enjoy, it is not about kind of wasting your time. You enjoy your work really. But that's what I mean. Okay, so enjoy your work and then do take pride in the system. I think a lot of us actually take pride. A lot of us means all of us included. And you have seen the journey. And of course, there is always a thought process of how to increase the satisfaction level. And satisfaction do not come only because of money, by the way. Money is an integral part of it. Of course, there will be thought process about how to increase salary. That I'm not part of it, but there will be set of something like that. But academic satisfaction comes because of several other things as well. The very moment you write a paper and get published, that's a different satisfaction that no money can give, basically. So these are many things. Like suppose our student gets into a very good company, and that's a satisfaction that our salary cannot give, right? So there are many levels of satisfaction of being an academic person out here, and also we are also kind of role models to the society. So don't forget that in the wake of the mind, you should also have that. Having said that, 3,000 publications, 700 patents and all that, I think all of you are aware that we are also going to conduct a research conclave starting from this year in September. So get going towards that. And if you really think that you have actually done very, very well, then you can compete. And we'll slowly invite competitions for that. And that is also will be done in some sort of a celebration mode. Don't get too much of kind of tension for that. Actually. But so we'd like to encourage the rules of the game are already known to you. Everybody is aware of that. So try for that, achieve for that. And those who will not, like nobody should feel kind of left out or something. Everybody should be part of it. Everybody should be part of the university. University is because of everyone. It's right. So that is the feeling that we should all have. I look forward to the research conclave in September, physically, hopefully. And I also look forward to the Institute of Eminence in 5 years' time. We should all take it as a positive challenge, and we should really stand up, and then probably can make it. The very first thing to do is go inside this best 100 of NIRF ranking, and then onwards it will automatically go to next step. So that is what the journey has been in Centurion, and we are all very proud of it. In the sense, we actually have all sort of spectrums. You name biology, we are there. We know agriculture, you are there. We know engineering, we are there. Management, we are there. High technology, we are there. We are now talking about all the very ambitious programs like quantum mechanics, aerospace engineering, all sorts of chip making. I mean, it's a very, very big dream, by the way. You can manufacture a chip, something like that. So there are from very village level social programs to all the way to the very high tech things. They are all there. The only question is, each of us should find where we belong. Right? Everybody cannot have my left hand somewhere, right hand somewhere, right leg somewhere, left leg somewhere. Then you are confused and you will not be able to do anything. Okay? So you should talk to yourself and figure it out where you belong. And once you figure it out, stick to your game plan, and then that is where you contribute. And I am sure university will certainly respect you for your own contributions. So don't worry about it. So with that little thing, let us go to the celebration mode again. 10 years has been very, very good. And next 10 years, hopefully we are all there. We'll meet after 10 years to celebrate it again. And that point of time, probably very close to the silver jubilee, maybe 25 years. And that is where we should be really, really there in the number. We now talk about some best 10 or 20 universities. That should be the target. So with that, I'll stop here and leave the podium for actual celebration. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Professor Padi.
Thank
Yes, he's been one of those sometimes very gentle and sometimes not so gentle prodder of all our faculty. So I think that is something that we also like, because sometimes we being complete insiders find it difficult to play that role. So thank you, Professor Padi. It's just been wonderful to have you as part of the team. I now request Professor Omkar Manthi to speak a few words.
Thank you. I think, first of all, very good afternoon to everyone present here. The president of the Centurion University, my very, very dear friend, Professor Mishra, and Professor D.N. Rao, another great friend of mine, and Supriya ji, Dr. Patnaik, the Vice Chancellor, the very eminent Professor Pari, the Provost of the University, and I think all the faculty members, you have made the university really proud, and the students of the university, all of you, not only do you feel proud for the university, and as Professor Pari rightly said, many of you have actually made the university proud already. So let me begin where Avinav actually ended. Avinav, I must tell you that how much I enjoyed listening to you, and I had enjoyed talking to you many, many years back when you had just joined, I remember. There are two things which you said, one thing, and there was something which was said of you or about you. And both of them, let me begin with that. You talked about the thought leadership. I think that's the most important thing. Are we a thought leader or not? Each one of you, the faculty members, those of you who are leading actually institutions such as Gram Tarang. And the other thing which was said about you by your Vice Chancellor, and that was about your passion. And because you are not in a profession, whether you are in Gram Tarang or you are in the profession of teaching, it's not merely a profession. It has to be blended with passion. Then only it will actually become what it is or what you are, and so on. And I have seen you grow with the university. So that's why I think I'll pick up these two words, the thought leadership, how is the university shaping that? And the second one is how much of passion have you been able to put or inject into each one of you? These are extremely important. And if you have done that in good measure, that's, to my mind, a very important thing already. Now, my memory, as Professor Mishra will vouch me out, bear me out, and even others, I'm undoubtedly the oldest member present here. I don't see Professor Patnaik's name, Professor Devi Prasanna Patnaik. If he's not here, if he would have been here, then I would be the second oldest member present here. But if he's not, then I would be the oldest.
Well, your hair doesn't say that.
Huh?
Your hair should speak that. Your hair is not speaking that.
The hairs are misleading at times. The hairs are misleading at times. So therefore, the Professor Patnaik, meaning Professor Devi Prasanna Patnaik, if you would be there also. So the point I was trying to make is, when I came to Odisha for the first time after hibernating for about 35, close to 40 years, more than 40 years outside Odisha, and I came to Biju Patnaik University, the Vice Chancellor. Then most of the universities in Odisha that we see today, they were all part of the university, which is what I came to be associated with, and that was called the Biju Patnaik University of Technology. And that was the first time I saw Professor Mukti Mishra as the head of the college, or rather the founder of the college. And at that time, there are many such leaders, but I found that there was something different about what he's dreaming or the vision. And that's where the thought leadership actually comes. You can't be, the most important thing I want to tell you, you can't be another Institute of Science Bangalore. You don't have to be. And my own alma mater, the IIT systems from which I spent more than 20 years, I do not ever recommend that you should be another IIT, or you don't need to be. and you shouldn't be. And not only that, when I came from the IIT, then the CSIR system, I spent 10 years. Tata Steel, where I was heading their R&D, another 10 years when I came here. So I thought all these CSIR, IIT, and a big corporate called Tata Steel, where in the R&D we were working, where have I come? Then very soon I told myself, if any of those models I try to introduce here, that will be the surest prescription to disaster. In other words, I learned myself that every institution without a single exception has to develop its own model and has to follow that. And in its own way, it has to grow and become a thought leader of, as you rightly said. And as a matter of fact, when MIT started, many people thought that they would actually follow some of the English universities. They did not do. If you go through the history of MIT, you'll find that initially they actually restricted themselves to solving technological problems of the nearest land to begin with. So therefore, that's one thing which I remember or would like to remember today. The other thing I would like to remember is, I found there has been actually, surfeit is not the right word, a large number of mushrooming of universities, primarily coming from the status of the colleges. I oftentimes ask myself, and many people have this question, what's the big deal? What's the difference between the institution or educational institution as a college or when it graduates to be university? Now, this is something which actually bugs the minds of the students as well as faculty, as it should. And to my mind, again, there can be various the definitions. To my mind, it is simple in one way. The university, I think there is a connection and connectivity with universe. And if that universe part and the university part is not there, probably the university once again loses its shine. Now, it doesn't mean that you should have MOUs. It doesn't mean that we should have people from or visitors from Australia or US or so on. Do we call them as a university just because we have that? The answer is no. The answer once again is the thought leadership. And to what extent there is a universalism in your thoughts. How much of that is totally unique? And once again, of course, it is on paper that in Indian situation always shines. We had, for example, a science policy for India, subsequently supplanted by and added by, supplemented by a technology policy. So we called it TP, technology and TS, technology and science policy. And very recently, Government of India has added another letter or alphabet to that, which is innovation. So today we call it the innovation, technology and science. So all three of them have to be together. So basically, I think the most important thing about the university, or for that matter, any educational institution, is how much of this innovation content which is there. How do you know whether the innovation content is there or not? Because every institute, every individual would like to think that he is innovation personified. Now, so the most important thing is around us, how many people think that way? That's very important. A small story, Supriya ji, at this point, 2 minutes, please allow me to have this small diversion. I had just joined the corporate Tata Steel as the director of their R&D. I didn't know about how the big corporates like Tata's operate. On that particular evening, there were 6,000 people in the stadium, and Dr. Irani, as the managing director, was taking the meeting of the senior management, the junior management also. So he was asking after the presentation if any one of you would have anything to say. So here gets up a person, some Mr. Jha. So Jha ji got up and said, "Sir, मैं कुछ बोलूँगा because आपके यहाँ KRA बहुत होता है. You know the key result areas. Any corporate, Abhinav would remember, and all the people who have been associated. Key result area is a very important thing. And the result areas were given to you in the beginning, and then at the end of it, probably the managing director or the head will open that envelope and say that these are the areas or targets which were given to you. How much of that have you actually fulfilled or not? But this man said, "Sir, ये जो KRA होता है, हिंदी में बोला, मैं बोलूंगा कि KRA का कुछ अलग अर्थ निकलता है." So then Dr. Irani asked, "क्या आप चाहते हैं बोलने के लिए?" Then he said, KRA is Kyun Rakhe Aapko. He said, Kyun Rakhe Aapko. From that day onwards, it's about 20 years, it got actually absolutely entrenched in my mind. Kyun Rakhe Aapko, in any of your professors, Professor Panda was speaking, a highly respected professor in management, all of you would remember this Kyun Rakhe Aapko is a very important kind of thought process, whether one is an individual or one is an institution. We have to ask ourselves, if I would not have been there, what difference would it have made to the surrounding in which I had existed? Has it made an iota of difference? Now, normally we tend to say, I've done this, I've done that, and so on. If you start analyzing, you'll find most of that we shall get obliterated. Essentially because you'll find the essentiality of that probably doesn't exist. So to my mind, this Kyun Rakhe Aapko is a very, very strong kind of picture that one has to keep in mind. So in the context of Centurion, first of all, I would like to compliment Centurion having traded the right path, because first 10 years, as Professor Pari said, in the life of an institution, for example, we are so proud of the Institute of Science. Our institute, IISc Bangalore, we are all proud of. But if you really think of when Jane Tata offered the first directorship to guess who? Some of you know, some of you may not. He offered the directorship to no other than Swami Vivekananda. But that it's not just the offer letter. What he wrote there is extremely important. What he wrote there is extremely important. I do not intend to bore you with details. They're all available today in records. But what he wrote, the essence of that is that you have to, first of all, be a place where good men and women are actually trained. So when you say good men and women, then the management books I open, you say, and then there is a cliche. There is a sentence which is a cliche today. And you say always that to be great is good. To be great is good, but to be good is great. It is again a cliche because many people say this. But if you start analyzing it, to be good, how great it is, I have felt all through my life, my 40 plus years of life. Moving as I did from pure academia of 20 years to pure research of CSIR, to pure corporate research, and then back to BPUT, and now I am in another industry, which is automotive industry. I have realized without doubt that most important thing in our life, what you learn is, do you learn wherever you are? We have enough to learn wherever one is. So whether I am today in the automotive group, there are 7 different plants where we produce, I don't know whether my internet, am I visible and audible? Because it says my internet is unstable. Am I,
Sir, yes.
Am I audible and visible?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes.
Okay. So another 2 minutes, I'll wind up. So all I was trying to tell is that this is one part. The other part is, are we conscious of our surroundings? One surrounding change for the last 10 months is, of course, COVID. Of course, COVID. Now, do we brush it aside and say business as usual, education as usual, classes as usual, everything as usual, nothing has happened? I don't think that is correct. I had the opportunity of listening to 10 thought leaders across the globe, and guess from where? Ravenshaw University's history department was holding a seminar entitled Post-COVID Thoughts. Post-COVID Thoughts, they had included a large number of people from all over the world, and kind of thoughts which I never listened in my life. That how the COVID-19 actually had thought from various parts of the world. So people are thinking in a very different way. But one thing is certain. One thing is certain. When even in the peak of the COVID time, we don't know whether the peak is around the corner as far as India is concerned, because the UK variant is still lurking its head. We do not know how it's going to blossom. But the most important thing is, even in the peak of the COVID-19, the peak which is gone, and that was around maybe May, June time, you look through the window, what did you find? the cuckoo bird was singing, and the birds, the flowers were still blossoming beautifully. The green of the grass was still very green. So the birds were chirping away, everything was happening, minus the man, minus the humankind. So therefore the nature actually didn't bother. The nature did not bother whether man was there or not. It had a right to blossom through the flowers, through the birds, through the animals, and everything was happening. So man came to the earth 1 million years back. But the earth came maybe 10 times before that, 20 times before that, or close to maybe 50 times before that. But we started ruling over the earth as if we created this earth. So therefore, being humble, humility is the first thing one has to learn. And I think the portals of an educational institute is the first thing that has to teach us that one has to be naturally humble. The last thing which I wanted to say, what I have learned actually from the CUTM model, I'm still learning. There can be views that can change. Now, talking about views and facts, if you remember, I was actually clung to the CNN International for about 3-4 hours. People were asking me, what is there to see? It's about US, it's not about India. But when the inauguration was taking place, or when the insurrection was taking place a week before that, 2 weeks before that, it was democracy which was actually under threat. And on that day when the inauguration was taking place, I think after that, the CNN analyst was telling something which actually struck me. What he was telling is that if there are two persons or two views, the views can be different, analysis can be different, but facts cannot be different. So the most important thing in the world today is, are facts known to be facts? So whatever we are doing today in the university, my request to the student body, the faculty, and those of you who are associated with the industries under the realm of the Centurion Trust, the facts are most important. Let us find out facts which can be proved, and therefore they can be taken as facts. Views can be different, but the facts must be accepted. And very recently, in the past 1 to 2 months, the Stanford University has published in variety of areas a number of people who are counted within the top 10 or top 20 purely on research. And I was very proud. I felt very happy that in Bhubaneswar alone, there are 10 or 11 people. And many of them I know, or most of them I know. I felt very happy. But the whole question is, I asked myself, to an institute like Centurion, is that the model that we will actually produce papers which will be placing us within top 10? Could be, yes. If I am in the area of research, that should be my mission. But if I am in a different kind of model, where I would like to leave behind my footprint in the villages of Parlakemindi or around that, then I think my model is very different. So therefore, I went to the PSG College of Coimbatore. Twice I went there. When I went there, and having come from the IIT streams, you carry always a baggage that's possibly one of the model things in India. But when I went there, I found this is a superior model because they have 4 industries within the premises and 4 of their the engineering departments. Instead of 4 years BTech, they run 5 years BTech, so that 1 year of internship is done in the industries. And I was so impressed because initially I was thinking the laggards do the 5 years instead of 4 years, those who cannot cope with the 4 years program. But to the contrary, it was just the opposite. Some of the best students actually go to the 5 years program because they earn a lot of money, 15 to 20,000 rupees those days, which is quite a lot for the students. And then at the same time, they get their degree. Now that kind of model doesn't exist anywhere. Then I found that Centurion is a model where you have the rural-based industries which are operating, whether your Gram Tarang finance part in Vizag, which I saw, or what Avinav represents. And then under your Gram Tarang, Avinav, you and me, we had discussed, Sasikanta had discussed also, when from the RSV from my industry, I was trying to find out what is it that Gram Tarang can give us. I took the president of this company, Sankar Narayan. I remember on that rainy evening, I went there and I was so grateful to Mukti as well as your people, that people are waiting. It was till 5:30, 6 o'clock in the evening time. And they were there. The tribal students were there who were running operating the lathes. And they were keen to show to Sankanarayan from our RSB company that how they are operating, what kind of components you are making. That is why I was interested that you continue this interaction with RSB. It doesn't bother me whether it is my company or another company, but it does give the industry a great amount of satisfaction if your industrial the continuation takes place. If you run through the corridors of MIT anytime. So I had the opportunity every 6 months we used to go, because Tata Steel and MIT, we were members of it. Tata Steel was members of what is called the Industrial Liaison Program, ILP of MIT. They run that for $50,000 and the other one is 250K. One is 50K, one is 250K. What happens there was an eye-opener. Because these industries from all over the globe, they go there, or the industry chiefs, and they tell us about a completely revolutionary idea. So therefore, those ideas, how much of that we can actually bring and make a success of that is quite another matter. But the most important thing, the bottom line of that is the academia, industry, partnership, and the interaction. That I think is an extremely important thing. Unfortunately, it has only become a slogan. Let me conclude now. So 2 or 3 things which I said, let me summarize what I wanted to say. One is, I thought that Centurion has come 10 years on a road. Foundation Day is a great day. My compliments to the faculty, to the staff, to the students, to the other stakeholders, and to other industries which are all associated. You have already done a great job, but that's not the end of the story. It is the beginning. This is part 1. Part 2 is you have to have your own thought process, and probably 10 years is a time where you have to revisit that and ask yourself, am I supposed to trade for the next 5 years on the same path that I have traded for the last 5 years? Or does it require a course correction? This is the time when we have to ask ourselves about that. Third thing we said, and that's a great opportunity for Centurion, because you are also partly located in several rural settings in Odisha. That's your great advantage. That COVID has given us the great lesson. And the lesson is, how do you be living in harmony with the nature? And that's what is most important today. And the last thing is the humility part of it. And whatever you are doing, wherever you are doing, the pursuit of excellence. So therefore, whether it is the outcome-based education, which is given the maximum emphasis today, in which mapping of each of your activities, whether it is the teaching part, the curriculum part, your evaluation part, everything is mapped together so that the outcome which tells us why we are existing. So that mapping is most important. With these words, I would like to once again compliment all the visionaries who thought of this very unique university. I have attended n number of meetings, n number of occasions at Centurion. Every time I come out actually wiser, because I learned something. Be it a new course on the sports equipment, or be it the courses for teaching for the physically impaired girls. Every time I come there, I learn something, and I also learn that there is a lot of things to learn from this institute, for which I must express my gratitude and record my gratitude today. Thank you very much, Centurion. Thank you very much, all the planners. Wish you a great future.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you. Again, pardon me for repeating myself, but it's always so inspiring, all your thoughts. And I think you're right. We're just at the beginning. We have a long way to go. And, it has to be a search for excellence. It has to be that. So we will, I think, all of us who are now kind of trying to take the team along will bear that in mind to go ahead. Thank you, sir, once again.
Thank you.
I would now like to request Aditya Sapruji Are you there?
Sorry. Yeah, I'm there.
Yes. I think one of the last speakers before we go on to a little bit. So welcome, and
Not the least,
I know
last
you've been part of this journey from the very beginning. So we would love to, at least university of the university. So we would love to hear from you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Supriya ji. So I'll make this short. I honestly think there's a lot more worthy people that have been involved with the university. It's very difficult to kind of explain how the relationship with Centurion or Professor Mishra and DN started. I have known Professor Mishra from the time that he was in XIMB, and I had traveled to Bhubaneswar at that time. And somehow, these are predestined things. I'm a strong believer in that. Somehow, the relationship he kindly kind of continued, and look what it's blossomed into. I think I remember Abhinav and I were on the same flight. We did not know once we landed, then we kind of connected. And I remember that trip to Palakkumundi, and the one thing that I will say before I kind of share my views. I am, I'm a person that typically is used to structure, to put it mildly. Years of doing and working in corporate kind of put you in that way. And in the last 10 plus years, 15 years that I have known Professor Mishra and DN, and every time we've had a conversation about what Centurion will do, this structure just goes out, and I always am wonderstruck by the amazing amount of energy that Professor Mishra brings, and the amount of sort of genuineness that everybody at Centurion, honestly, while I haven't been to Centurion enough number of times as I would like to, but every time I've been there, I have either learned something new, or I have, there's some aspect of me that is kind of changed. I think it's a good thing that we've been through 10 years, and I know the road has not been simple. I know the road has definitely not been easy. There are multiple times that Professor Mishra, and which is the part that I treasure about our relationship, that he'll just on a lark call, and I know that he just wants to vent out. So maybe it is the size of my body that that I'm a good cushion. But you hear that over the years. But I think it's very important to envisage education in the way that Centurion and the team, the founders and the team at Centurion is looking at it. I think the way our children are going to grow up, the next few generations are going to go, there is a huge amount of focus that needs to happen on moving away from pure academics into the application of academics. It's a very difficult concept, in my opinion, to appreciate and understand. And I think institutions like Centurion need to sort of go from strength to strength, because the institute is a living example of what needs to happen, in my opinion. And these are not empty words. I mean, increasingly, we need to move out of the education that is a remnant of an industrial age, and truly and honestly become something which is going to strengthen the hands of children that are basically going through it, and going to have a fulfilling life of their own. We are going to see longer lives. We are going to see an extended period of time that the next few generations will live. And it would be a shame if they had to live their lives around 9 to 5 and making sure that they had enough for their retirement. So I think as part of nature, we definitely should move about that. And Centurion is doing that. To me, there are multiple stories, multiple sort of learnings personally, multiple observations that I have that will be very close to my heart. whether it has happened in Bhubaneswar, whether it has happened in Palikamundi, whether it has happened in just discussions and the passion that everybody else is working with. So I will leave that to some other day, maybe the day that we reach 25 years, and hopefully we are all around to celebrate that. But right now, I think my two words would be that it's a fantastic journey, and it's a case that the world needs to hear about. And we almost have a duty to make sure that we go from strength to strength, to make sure that this approach has a voice of its own. Now, whether it eventually becomes the approach of choice for the world moving forward, or it remains as a something that is very potent and is a choice that multiple people can make, is for the future to tell. But for us to make sure that people realize that such a situation exists, such an option exists, and such things need to be taken care of, I think it's a success in itself. So we were successful on the day Centurion started. We have just kind of moved on a milestone. In 15 years from now, when we are 25, we would be a little more successful. So it's not about success. It's about making sure that people have something to look to and say, yeah, this works. This is something that needs to happen. And ultimately, from a cycle, from students coming out, there is a complete cyclicity and sustainability that is happening. So that I think is the biggest and the best part about Centurion. And I'm so grateful to Professor Mishra, to DN, to you, Supriya ji, to Anita ji, to all of the people that have accepted me in spite of all my idiosyncrasies of not being around as much. And now it's just an interesting place to be, and I think it's important for us to succeed in sending this message out, and that I think is the biggest success personally. Yeah.
Time for the high tea now.
Thank you. I'm sorry, I somehow got stuck with my system. So thank you so much, Aditya ji. Always a pleasure. Great working with you. So we look forward to this continued support from your side. I think we've been hearing several messages. The fact remains that the COVID-19 has probably brought us to a changed world, and we need to be humble enough to recognize that our role is somewhat diminished in all this, or maybe it's enhanced, whatever it is. But and I think it's really wonderful hearing all of you kind of pointing out what the role of Centurion has been and where you see it going in the future. Of course, we have our president and vice president with their vision of where they want to take us or where they want to take the university. But all your inputs into this has always been the great of this university. So thank you all of you so much for this. I would now request Sangram to take forward this program. So Sangram, are you there?
Yeah, good evening, madam. Good evening, all of you. The next agenda we are having is the inauguration of the souvenir. That actually the souvenir that we planned, that is named as Smorenica. And this is on the occasion of the 10th Foundation Day of the Centurion University. And we actually collected various articles from the technical point of view, literature, art, drawing, paintings, and it is in different languages like English, Odia, and Telugu. So I would like to request Madam Vice Chancellor, Madam, to officially inaugurate by showing that poster. Actually, Madam, you have shown it at the beginning, but I would like to request you once again to show the cover page of the Smorenica. And I will also like to request the whole team, Dr. Pradipta Banerjee sir and Dr. Satrupa Mudak madam, and the whole team that contributed to the Smorenica, that is like going to be inaugurated on the 10th Foundation Day. I would like to request everyone to switch on their video and show it. And I would also like to request the editorial board to share a few points and their views regarding this Smaranika. Over to the editorial board.
I jumped the gun. I'm sorry. So this was inaugurated the souvenir now, which I showed at the start. So this is the souvenir. Thank you to the entire team who have worked tirelessly to bring this to fruition.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank
Over
you.
to the editorial board. Please share your views.
So it's a great pleasure to announce that we are going to launch this souvenir Smaranika on this auspicious occasion of 10th Foundation Day of CUTM. So we have received an overwhelming response from our dear colleagues and students, and this article, this souvenir contains more than 75 articles and more than 100 paintings. So that's a great achievement, I think. So I'm thankful to my editorial team, and I'm thankful to my dear colleagues and students for making this souvenir a grand success. And we will launch this full ebook of this souvenir within few days, and we'll let you know. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Now I would like to just highlight the week-long activities that we did for this 10th Foundation Day celebration purpose. So we actually began the whole program on 15th of January, and the announcement of the program was done by the Registrar Madam, and that was followed by the address by the Vice Chancellor. And what we did, the green initiative, we continued. That has been the whole idea of Centurion, like saving lives and empowering communities. So we thought that the inauguration of this program to started with the plantation drive. So across our 6 campuses, Palakkad, Bhubaneswar, Balangir, Rayagada, Chhatrapur, and Baleshwar, each of the campus we did the plantation program, and the recorded live session we telecasted on the first day. And after the day 1, day 2, we had the student competitions. That was quiz competition, and in the quiz competition that was held in the Palakkad campus. And in the quiz competition, I would like to announce the name of the winners in the quiz competition. The winners are Horizon Gannaik and Suben Panikdahi. Both are from Master of Science Agriculture. So congratulations, both of you. Then after the quiz competition, we had on 16th all the alumni and student bites. So we have collected like from different batches, like from the first batch till the last batch who passed out in 2020. So almost 50 odd students and alumni, we collected all the bites, and we made it recorded live on that day. So on day 3, that was on 17th of January, so we had the recorded live of the campus tour. So all the 6 campuses, we had the live tour of that. We captured the videos and telecasted it for the information of all. And then we had the student competition that was on photography and documentary movie making competition. And the theme was Centurion's journey for the last 10 years. And in that, I would like to announce the name of the winners. In the photography competition, the winners are Ritam Mahapatra, BSc first year Bhubaneswar campus, and Atul Thakur, BTech CSC third year Bhubaneswar campus is the runners-up. And in the video making competition, Mr. Subhasis Sahu, BTech Civil fourth year Bhubaneswar campus, and the runners-up is Rakshak Chaudhary, MSc Patni first year Balangir campus. So congratulations all the winners. And after 17th of January, so we did the 4th day of the celebration. In that, we did the glimpses of extension activities. It was in the webinar mode. So all the different schools, they have presented all the different type of extension activities that we had conducted for last so many years. And after the extension activities, we showcased the basketball match that was played in between the team of international students. So in that, the international group 1 team won the match against the international group 2. So it was, this is the match we planned to have in between only the international students, and it was a great success. So on the day 5th, so we had the research center glimpses of activities. We divided the whole 26 research centers into 2 days, and on 19th of January, so we had 13 of research centers. They have showcased what are the like achievements they did since it was like started from 15th August 2020 onwards. So all the achievements, all the research centers, they have showcased. So on 19th and 20th, so the 5th and 6th day, we continued with the research center activities. And on the 7th day of celebration of this week-long activity, so we showcased the different competitions that was organized for the teaching, non-teaching staff. It was including all the main staff and faculty members. So I would like to announce the result of that. So in that basketball staff match result, CUTM team won the match against the Gram Tarang team. And in the this cricket staff match, School of Agriculture won the match against the Gram Tarang. And in the music chair competition, the winner is Hemanti Ganta. She is the staff member of Alakemandi campus, and the runners-up is Sarmishta Sahu, faculty of School of Agriculture. So with that, we completed the week-long celebration of the whole 10-year celebration that we conducted. And today we are in the final closing day, means the foundation day, real celebration on the day of 22nd of January. So now, after the recapitulation of all the programs that we did, I would like to request Dr. Atanu Devsar to showcase the video that he has made, capturing all the activities, all the things of last 10 years, more than that actually, when the Centurion group of institutions was there. And also before that, when JITM was there. So we have captured all the photographs and videos together. And Dr. Atanu has made a nice video. And I would like to request Dr. Atanu to show that video. Over to you, Dr. Atanu.
Thank you, sir. A very good evening. We are having we are having data of more than 50 GB, and the video which was actually produced, it was of 10 GB video. So we have made a short version of it, and the full version will upload as soon as possible. Still, it's a 30 minutes video. So I'm sharing my screen now. Sir, please allow to share the screen.
Sangram, please do so.
Yeah. It is already.
Atanu. Sound, please. Atanu, share the sound, please.
the idea of starting an institute at Parlakamidi came because of the suggestion of the late Prime Minister P.V. Narasimha Rao to Sri Murthy Raju Garu. Sri Murthy Raju at that time was on the governing body of Kakatiya Institute of Technology and Science, Warangal, which also is an institution started with the guidance of Sri P.V. Narasimha Rao Garu. At that time, myself, I was working as professor of Civil Engineering Department after retirement from the Motilal Nehru National Institute of Technology, Allahabad. The principal was Dr. Y.V.N. Rao, who also worked as principal of Motilal Nehru National Institute of Technology till 1990. So he came afterwards to join KITS Warangal as principal. I joined him in 1993 and we were there for almost four years till 1997 together. Further, Professor Y.V.N. Rao was known to me because even earlier when he was professor at Aligarh Muslim University. So we were close friends and he was also a senior to me in my college at Kakinada. Both of us came to Parlakamidi to help Sri Murthy Raju Garu set up the institution. Basically, our job is to prepare the academic programs and then develop the necessary laboratories and infrastructure, staff, supporting staff, all those type of things as early as possible within a short period. And the proposal was sent to the Ministry of Education, Government of India, for establishing this engineering institution in Parlakamidi sometime in the month of January or February 1997. Then the committee came to visit the institution in somewhere in April or so for giving permission to start the institution from the academic session 97-98.
I have been asked to speak something about the journey of JITM, Centurion and the transition and all. So I can tell from my experience, my side of the story. It may not be the exact one. So 1997, Alluri Murthy Raju Garu started this campus, JITM, which is Jagannath Institute for Technology and Management, as an engineering college with 4 branches: computer science, mechanical, EEE, and EC. So these 4 were the branches which were available. Later on, we expanded and we had IT addition to it, and we also had EIE as an addition to it. So we and I came into JITM in 1999, 1st December. So when I came in, I remember I met the founder director, late Dr. Y.V.N. Rao, and our founder dean, Professor C.R. Rao. They were the people who briefed me, what is that as a teacher I should do here? What is that is expected of me? Then they guided me also, where should I sit? When should I come? I can avail the bus, how can I avail? So it was like a personal touch. And they always told me that, yes, you are like our daughter, you are younger than our daughter. So for any reason, you can come back to us.
One day क्या हुआ, I came 5 minutes late at 9:35 I reported. Then he told, why you came late? No, sir, bus was late because I am coming in a private bus. That bus was late. I don't want to listen anything. Whether you come at morning 6 or 7 in any bus, I don't want to listen. After 5 minutes, you will report. If you want to report, report. Otherwise, don't come from tomorrow. So that day, it is the, I think this incident was happened after 1 month. After joining, then he shouted, no, 9:30 means sharp 9:30. So this was my first experience. That was, see, at that time my age was only 23. Then when he scolded in 98, I am talking about 98, something 23 or 24 age. Then another incident I was saying, first examination in the year 1998, first semester examination in November. 230 or 35 students joined. Then he asked all the faculty members to submit the attendance. Then everybody submitted. Then he detained some 6 students because of short of attendance. Then what happened? Students shouted. First batch, 6 students detained. They are unable to write the examination. Then parents came. Then they approached Professor our Murthy Raju sir, chairman. Please see something that D.N. Rao sir, Y.N. Rao sir has detained the students. Then he requested. Chairman requested to director not to detain. This is the first batch, first examination. Please don't detain. Then parents are requesting, students are requesting. Then he will speak very less. He will not discuss many things, just he will listen. He will never speak many things, he will listen many things. Then he finally he told, okay, Murthy Raju Garu, you want those 6 students to write the exam, or you need my presence at Jagannath Institute. You choose anyone. If they will write exam, I will leave. If I am here, they will not come to the exam. So you choose anyone, tomorrow you tell me. Then accordingly we will take the decision. Then finally he told, yes, I agreed, let them not to write exam, finally. Then what happened in the meantime, just before one day of examination or examination was running, one of the 6 students, out of them, one, like his name was Chinmay Patra or Chinmay Sahu, exactly I am forgetting. He committed suicide at Parlakhundi. He booked one Vrindavan Lodge, still I remembering, this front to Nandakishore Padi medical store, Vrindavan Lodge was there. He was booked one room and committed suicide. So when the news came to campus, immediately Professor Y.N. Rao and D.N. C.R. Rao was rushed to that place. When police came and all those things happened, then their parents came and all the protocols completed. Finally, everything happened, but still he never repented and realized because of him, because of this attendance issues or any issues, these things was happened. Never. He was so strict and stick to all the discipline and all kind of things because he was the director of 5 NITs. And that time when he came, and Professor C.R. Rao sir also that time was not retired from the service. He was given a VRS. And he came along with Professor Y.N. Rao with long vision.
This went on till Professor Y.V.N. Rao and C.R. Rao were there, and we had seen principals. Dr. Appayana was a principal. Then we had Dr. Malla Someswar Rao as our principal. This went on quite well till 2003 end. In 2004, there was a drop in the admissions of JITM. It is because earlier JITM was affiliated to Barampur University. Okay. But later on, Government of Odisha took a decision that all technical university will be affiliated to BPUT, Biju Patnaik University of Technology. So what had happened is, in earlier case, the fees were different. There was a free seat for around 50% of the seats were free. where the fees were very nominal, 15,000 to 20,000. And there was a paid seat where the fees was 60,000 around. But when BPUT came into existence, they said that the fees, there is no free seat and there is no paid seat. It's all same. So what happened is when the central counseling happened, JITM did not, though it had a big infrastructure and it had a lot of good faculty members, the problem was that to the remote location as it is, people did not want to come. Parents and students started opting for Bhubaneswar College. Even if it was one building college, they would opt there because the fees was same. Earlier we used to get very good students in the free seat because merit students will come there. So the counseling was such that all first will fill up, all colleges free seat will be filled up, then all colleges paid seat will be filled up. So that's how rationalization used to occur. But later on that did not happen. So university, the JITM Engineering College became sick, you can say, in 2004 and 2005 admission. We had hardly, out of 420 seats that we had, we could fill up 108 students. In another batch, we had 118 students. So it was almost sick. So Alluri Murthy Raju Garu was looking for somebody who can manage this and bring again the rigor back into the system. So that's where Professor D.N. Rao and Professor Muktikanta Mishra, they came in as managers, in fact consultants to this. And for 1 year, they managed, and the admission that year became again 418 for 420 seats. So it was a big jump and a life came back, giving back the life. Since they had their own background, they were professors from XIMB and with their reputation, they brought in Dr. Dhanada Mishra, who became the principal, and with all these new faces and new rigor, we had the life back. Then 2000, say end of 5 onwards, the journey started. The engineering college now had thought of branching off.
Good afternoon. My name is Supriya Patnaik. I'm the Vice Chancellor of Centurion University of Technology and Management, Odisha. As you know, this is part of the celebration of our 10 years of establishment as a Centurion University. It's our foundation day. It's celebrating the journey and what we have achieved in these past 10 years and a little bit about what we are hoping for the future. So we started off from our campus in Parlakyamundi, which was called JITM then, and which subsequently became a university, and we then added various campuses. So there was a campus at Bolangir, Raigada, Bhubaneswar, which were then added on. We still have two satellite, Chhatrapur is another campus, and we are looking at developing Gopalpur as still another campus. So this is what the extent of our operations, because we are a unitary university. We were established by an act of the Odisha State Assembly. We are not allowed to operate outside the state of Odisha. Our aim has been the promoters and the founders, Dr. Muktikant Mishra and Professor D.N. Rao, had always looked at establishing the university with a social bend. That's what I can call it. With an attitude which looks at the most disadvantaged, the poorest, the most difficult geographies. That's why you can see the kind of distribution of our campuses working in the most difficult geographies in the poorest areas, and also in what was the erstwhile left-wing extremist areas, which subsequently, and I think that's a very good move, are now called the aspirational districts. So Gajapati is one of them, where we started our journey. As usual, it was a College of Engineering. It was a university which was focusing on engineering and management. We have subsequently added various disciplines to it. We have ended up making our campuses niche areas for particular disciplines. For example, Parlakyamundi is a niche area for agriculture, fisheries, and allied other areas related to agriculture. of course, the management and engineering program continue, but that is not the focus. In Bhubaneswar, there again the management and engineering programs continue and pretty much are the focus, but the niche area that we are trying to develop is really the allied health, the area of allied health, and the pure sciences, and more of research and enterprise and skill development. So along the way, we looked at how is it that Centurion can, what is distinctive about Centurion? What is so different in terms of what it is that we do? And it was the idea of the promoters that there were people who were completely left out of the education system, and so we need to have some pathways created for them that would enable them to get back into the education system. It so happened that there was a great focus on skills, and we became one of the first leaders and pioneers in this area, and we also started looking at skill integration into higher education. So not only skills at the lower levels, that is skills which were meant for school dropouts, skills which are meant for people who have finished year 10, year 12, so those kind of programs, but also we were looking at skill integration into higher education. As part of this journey, we also realized that even if somebody did, a young person who had done a skill program would not get into the mainstream if they did not have a school pass out certificate or something like that. So we actually became part of the NIOS, which then enabled a lot of the National School of Open Learning, which enabled a lot of students to then complete their year 10 and year 12 in kind of a blended mode, distance mode, that kind of a thing. And I think that is a very good move of the government, which allowed for this kind of development. So we then became also recognized as a skill university, and that I think was an amazing thing. We also, in the meanwhile, our promoters said that you cannot be a skill, you cannot run a business school without running a business successfully. So in pursuance of that, we actually set up a whole lot of social enterprises which sit along the margins of the university. And we started off with initially 4 of them, and they all went under the generic name of Gram Tarang. There was the Gram Tarang Employability Training Services. There was Gram Tarang Inclusive Development Services and Gram Tarang Foods. And there was a 4th one which was in the urban space, which is called the Urban Micro Business Center. Now, this whole idea of setting up these enterprises is trying to put into action the philosophy of lab to land and land to lab. So what you learn in the classrooms, you bring to the lab, you take to the land, and what you learn in the field, you bring back to the classroom. So these were labs for our students to enable them to learn those kind of skills, to then bring their experiences back into the classroom. So, of course, now there are many more enterprises which have since been added, and it has really expanded exponentially, I must say. We have also kind of expanded in terms of disciplines. We've added a number of further disciplines, not only in engineering, but in applied sciences, in agriculture and allied. And we intend also starting some programs in the future, like veterinary science. That is one of the areas that we are looking forward to developing in Parlakemundi. So that is our future plans. In all this, the aim of getting students, or rather the aim is to bring to fruition our tagline, which is shaping lives, empowering communities. And that is what we are actually all the time trying to do, is that you impact the individual and you impact communities. Also the philosophy behind all this, behind what we do, is literally aligning ourselves with the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. So there are a lot of activities that we undertake, whether it is in recycling water, whether it is in recycling water and the use of grey water, whether it is in using renewable energy sources. So there are a number of things, and the one thing that I would really like to talk about is the whole idea that we have looked at making our campus a green campus, and this is about each one of our campuses. They are absolutely green campuses. We are looking at ways of conserving energy, of conserving water, and also we have very many ways of supporting students who come from very disadvantaged backgrounds, so that we can help address the whole issue of education and poverty and gender equality. So these are essentially the kinds of areas that we are focusing on. Of course, the one other thing, the couple of other things that I would like to mention is that we have got excellent infrastructure in sports, and that has been a highlight for us because we recognize that our students not just have to have healthy minds, which are given a lot of stimulation, but they need to have healthy bodies as well. And so we have developed the sports infrastructure to support that. More and increasingly, we are getting into research areas which are cutting edge, and that is another thing that I would like to emphasize is while we have progressed in a trajectory that has been in some ways a mix of traditional and non-traditional, we now plan to kind of go or push the boundaries to look at more cutting edge areas of research and industry collaboration and technology development and of course production. That is the last area that we are focusing on. So I think with this I've just highlighted some of the points that we are into. So I thank all our colleagues.
My experiences and social realities around me, I am convinced that education must be linked to livelihood and it should create an alternate pathway for people who cannot afford education. It's at least from the point of equity. My Caucasian friends in Australia, when they heard that I am leaving Australia, coming back to work in LWA districts of Odisha, where our Honorable Minister is here, and they said that I have gone completely loony, or my ideas is outlandish, so they said that you have gone mad. But today, they want to be part of my endeavor, and they always think that, something meaningful is being done. So there is a sense of purpose and purpose of giving back something to the society, which you have achieved in working in the areas which others won't go. So that is the sense of pride which we have.
We
call ourselves a community regional university. We also call ourselves as a skill university. We as promoters believe that most of the universities are built with big walls and do not respond to community needs in and around those areas. Century University has a tagline which says that shaping lives and empowering community is its main mission. We believe that universities like us should respond to communities around, interact with them, engage them, and build on the local resources.
Thank you so very much, Dr. Atanu. As we come to the end of today's program, I would like to request Dr. Anita Patra, the registrar, to formally extend the vote of thanks and formally close the today's event. Madam, please.
Yeah, thank you all. Thank you, Sangram and Atanu, for arranging all these programs. So I would propose the vote of thanks with starting from Vice Chancellor Madam. She and President and Vice President, who had been the biggest support and encourager of celebrating this event. Of course, in building the institution, we can say they are the promoters, so it becomes like whatever vision and leadership they have given, it has shaped into that. I would like to also, now what we are is, as it's been already told, we are Skills University. We believe in multidisciplinary approach. We have a Centurion model. We are NAC A+, and we are ICR accredited. We have all the PCI and other certifications. So as a target, we have NAC A+ to get, NRF 100 to get, Institute of Eminence to be, we want to be there. So there has been a long journey, and long journey is ahead also. There are ups and downs for any institute, as has been pointed out, but we have done a good job as of now. So for all that we have achieved and all that we are going to achieve, we would like to thank all people who are involved in it. Thanks to all our regional directors we have campuses at other places, as we have already come to know. Similarly, if we look at our GT entities, they are our strength. Thank you all for being there with us, with the university, and inside the campus we have production, we have industry. So it's been a big strength, pride. UMBC has been a pride. So thanks to the director of UMBC. Then we owe, and I thank a lot to our previous trustees, Alluri Murthy Raju Garu, late Alluri Murthy Raju Garu, and our the then director, founder director, late Dr. Vivian Rao, and Professor C.R. Rao, who is the founder dean. And of course, we have seen many other members or principals in our doing. We have seen Professor G.C. Patro there. We have seen Dr. Dhanada Mishra. So we thank all of them, and our vice chancellors, Dr. Haribandhu Panda, Dr. Nageswar Rao. They have helped us to shape the university. They have put in all their effort to make it to this level. Thanks to all our employees, colleagues, and all who have been with us but have left. I am here for last 20 years, as plus years, and I've seen a lot of staff and colleagues who have been here with us. They had contributed to all this making, but now they are not with us. They are working elsewhere. Thanks to all of them. Then the board members, our governing body members, have been always very supportive, very encouraging for us, all our endeavors, and they have always helped us in all the way they could. Thanks to all our deans and directors and faculty members and the staffs. Of course, they are our strength. They have been with us, and they are the team we have now. So we are striving forward to achieve further things. So we will achieve that, we are sure of. Thanks to all our students and alumni. Alumni are always our pride. They have made us proud. We recently had we had been having many alumni meet. There is an alumni association, and each time the alumni makes us feel, yes, we have done something. We have been doing something in the last 10 years, and we will keep this work going. We have a school which is Centurion Public School, which we have at various campuses also. And thanks to all of them, their results and their outcomes, they always they are the brightest, we can say, of all the lot, and they bring pride to us all the time. For me, for the university, yes, it has grown. We have seen the whole of the video, how it has gone from an engineering college, JITM, under a tree, to such a vast infrastructure across 6 campuses. And we have our sister concern. We have Centurion University AP. And we all now are a very, very big family, growing family, expanding all the time. And we have so many schools. As for me, it has also been a growth story. I had joined here around 99 as an ad hoc lecturer. Now, over a period, I have moved from various positions, like I had been contributing as head of the department, then of course in examination for some time, then for placement for some time, then in admissions for some time. Then I became the PGP coordinator, then became the Dean School of Engineering, and now I am in the role of registrar. So I have seen my personal growth here as a person and as a professional. It has been a great journey, and I thank for all these programs. We heard from Atanu that yes, we have been here doing a week-long program, and Sangram and Atanu had been coordinating this. And I know that they had a lot of challenges to face. Still, they could make it. A special thank to both of them for making this program such a memorable event. And I hope that these videos that we have produced and this Smaranika that we have produced are all Smaranika. They are all memory for us, and we will be saving more memory into it. And we will make it far better. It was short time, so we'll bring in more of the story into the making of the journey of this 10 years and all. So thank you all for all your time, and our provost and our governing body members, Aditya ji and Omkar sir, all of them. And I'm happy that C.R. Rao sir could make it and send us a recorded audio. So many thanks to all of them from our heart, and from the institute side, we are very grateful that they all participated today, and we hope for the same support in the coming days. And as I have been always saying, we are a university which is hardworking, which works on ethics, and we are resilient. We come back every time for any calamities, man-made, natural, whatever, we come back stronger and we shine. So that's it. We will do our best and will shine. And with all the support of the team members, as this event we have been enjoying, we will also have an enjoyable ride. Though it will be hard, it will be difficult. We have to put a lot of effort in the coming days. We'll do that. And we'll see that the university moves to newer heights. Thank you so much. So I think we have come to the end. Atanu or Sangram, anything is left?
Yes, madam. Formally, you can declare closing up.
Yeah. So thank you all. So we come to the end of the week-long celebration, and now we close the whole celebration with today's event. Thank you all for being here.
Thank you, madam. I'm closing meeting for all. Thank you.